So right now, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is getting heavily called out online because people are questioning whether or not she is a licensed therapist or has any verifiable proof of her doctorate. Critics noticed that there is no public record of any type of psychology license, and her dissertation and doctorate license became a hot topic online. Cheyenne responded by claiming that she did get her doctorate through Argos University before it shut down, and she claims that didn't get the full access of everything before the university closed, because that's how it works. Don't you immediately get everything you need when you graduate? Don't you take those papers and show them to everyone? Or if you're trying to find a job, you actually have to have a copy of those papers? By the way, she also admits that she isn't a licensed psychology therapist. She describes herself more of a life coach and an expert, a psychology expert. What makes you an expert? The years you're alive on Earth? That's actually where the controversy exploded, because she is actually using the title doctor. And a lot of people feel like using the title doctor while giving mental health advice to patients and people is pretty much confusing, especially when there is no active licensed therapy attached to it. People are gonna go and follow your advice thinking that you're a doctor, you have a scientific proof behind it, you know what you are talking about. They're putting their life on the line because you're a doctor and they believe that you're gonna save them. But nah. You know how to do it because you're alive. You have been living on Earth for a while. It's unbelievable. And she went online to Fox 5 Washington, D.C. and she talked about her new book. She's promoting her new book and she will be talking about this doctorate title, by the way.
That's life coach and Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. She's out with her brand new book, Live Your Power, Escape Your Wilderness, Heal Your Pain so you can manifest the life you want. It just came out and it's already a bestseller. She's delving into how you can embrace self-love and reach your full potential. And she is here now, so come on in and congratulations on your latest.
She made it a bestseller.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming live in studio.
I'm going to add this to your book.
Oh, please do. Please do. And
honey.
I've read your book.
Yes.
Is it, how many have you
This
put
is
out
my
now?
second
The
book.
second
My
book.
first one, Mental Detox, is also a bestseller.
Wow. So for many, they know who you are.
Yes.
For others, this may be an introduction.
Yeah.
So you often talk about, and you talk about it in your book, going from the hood to the hills.
Yes, baby.
How has your life informed your journey and what you share?
Oh, gosh. I talk about it in my book, Live Your Promise, how, growing up in the inner city as a young girl, the oldest of 7, the product of teenage parents, had an extremely loving, tight-knit family, but the environment sometimes was dysfunctional and toxic. And so growing up in that, knowing that, look, I don't know where I want to go, but I know I got to get the heck up out of here. I always say sometimes it's not where you're going that gets you there, it's what you're running from. And as a young girl, I put on my track shoes and I said, look, I have a goal to get me and my family out of this, but to come back and give back and provide resources to the inner city. And so I say, I went from the hood to the hills by the grace of God.
I have to admit, she is very well spoken. She has a talent to sell you anything with words.
And as the Bible says, it was good for me that I was afflicted. So my afflictions created a certain muscle, a vertical backbone, and a character in me that allows me to withstand the storm. And the wilderness is what I talk about in my book. And we all have a wilderness that happens every time before you enter into your promised land. It precedes the promised land, which is you living in your promise.
Yeah, you share those biblical scriptures and
Of course, she uses religion to sell you on something and her past coming from the hood. And so, of course, a lot of people are gonna already, from the start, have something in common, right? Wow, she's incredible. She started really strong just to get connection with you and to let you know that you are similar, guys. You are similar, but she made it and you still didn't make it, even though you have similar past. So now you have to listen to her to know how to make it.
Stories as well, words of affirmation, even pages where you basically urge the reader to ask those questions.
Yes.
Because a lot of us, we see the wilderness, but we're too afraid to take the mask off, to turn the lights on and address it.
Marissa, come on. A lot of times what we're afraid of is 2 things. It's taking inventory of what is in our wilderness, because a lot of folks have used a coping mechanism to eclipse themselves from seeing the trauma, from taking the inventory, because seeing the trauma oftentimes makes it to where you have to relive it. It's a secondary trauma experience. And who wants to relive trauma? Trauma is dismantling, it's broken, it's painful. And so that inventory piece you said is important. And the second piece is they're usually afraid of the bigness, what's in the promised land. Can they not only obtain, but can they sustain it when they get there? And it takes a different tool in the promised land than it does in the wilderness. And it's okay to be in the wilderness, because the wilderness is where you are identifying who you are. You're finding out your muscle. You are building character. And that is what you need to be able to even enter into your promised land. The promised land takes a youth.
Wilderness, promised land, big words explaining life and living. I do understand this is her selling point as an author as well. She needs to use these big words. So which makes you actually have to question and think, what does she mean by wilderness? What does she mean by promised land? But you have to read the full book to understand.
That is vertical. It takes you that can thrive. The wilderness is where you survive. You cannot take your tool of survival into your promised land, where you are there to actually thrive.
Once you've identified that this for me is my wilderness, and you see the thing as a thing, what are some practical steps that you can do to begin?
Oh, that's interesting.
I love that.
Yes, I love the question, because now the steps, the healing process is what matters. And if you don't have an education to know how to approach that from a scientific place as well, and to have a profession behind where you learned and studied for years and years all the different aspects of it, then whatever you are saying is your own experience. All right. So I hope she actually starts from my opinion, from my experience, not from what she studied or didn't study.
We say, you have to feel, deal before you can heal. It means you have to really let yourself feel what you are feeling. Honor your emotions. Honoring our emotions is an act of self-love. Okay, and allowing yourself to feel what you feel. You also have to remember that, success does not erase your trauma. It doesn't erase your trauma. And so a lot of folks get into the position of success with accolades, and they're performing well, but that is an overcompensation for the healing that they need to do. We want to be equally yoked. We want to be successful in our performance, but we really want to be very healed, happy, and at peace within our relational space within ourselves, because no relationship will be as healthy as the one you have with yourself, and every relationship outside of you will reflect the one you have with you. So
yes, I read that somewhere on a motivational quote online, I remember. Said a bit differently, but same thing.
It's important to start with you.
That was a segue into my next question. There was one chapter in particular where you talked about the fairy tale ideology that we attach to romantic relationships.
You're cooking, girl. You're cooking. You're cooking.
And you give a lot of dating, relationship advice and words online, podcasts and whatnot. Why do you think it's so hard for us to break through that ideology when we're looking to attract or pursue love?
Yeah, because the fairy tale ideology comes from two places, either from what you've seen in the household, and you've seen your parents be married, and you've seen the success piece of it, but they maybe hid the arguing or hid the reality of the work that it takes to be married. Or you've seen the opposite. You said, I don't want this. So because I don't want what I've seen in my household, I'm going to create a fairy tale that I do want. It's an ideology, and you go out into the world and you clothe people with your fairy tale ideology, and when they do not meet up to those expectations, you gaslight them and say, you're not good enough. I'm just too much for you. You can't handle me. No, maybe they're human. Maybe your ideology is a fairy tale. Maybe we have to
Like, people actually like to say what is wrong with others before admitting what is wrong with themselves. And I completely agree with what she's saying here. She is very well spoken and she kind of does know what she's talking about. But keep in mind, as long as she's not giving any type of doctorate advice, then we're fine. We're completely fine.
Check what we are thinking we want, right? And say, is it reality? Does this even exist? Because that's different than just having standards. And so a lot of times people are breaking their own heart with their fairy tale ideology. It's not the person you're in a relationship with. They're being human. They have the right to be who they are. We have one choice or one free will in life, is to choose a person, not to change them.
What do you say to people who say that sound advice that you're giving, but you've never been married? You know, you don't have any children. How can you?
You know what? I would love that when whoever the interviewer is saying this, I remember her response before, which is, "Ooh, we're cooking. We're cooking." Why is she not saying it now? Why are we not cooking now? Because I think we're cooking.
But you've never been married. You know, you don't have any children. How can you give relationship advice, family advice, whatnot? What's your response to
This
that?
is my favorite question, by the way, my absolutely favorite question. I say this,
We're
I don't
cooking.
teach people how to be married. That is a covenant and agreement that you two make together. Only you know how to marry and have your covenant with God.
So what's the
I
point?
teach people how to get out of their own way. I teach you how to get past your trauma, past your parental issues, so you don't come and bleed onto that relationship. See, look, happy, healthy people make happy, healthy relationships, and traumatized out people create trauma bonds. And so the goal for me is to say, if I can get you all to be in alignment with yourself, your three-part house is what I talk about in the book, how you think, how you feel, and how you behave. If that can align, then guess what? Y'all can align.
But why are you not aligning with anyone then? Like, it is easier said than done, right? Like, you can give me all the advice you want, but if you haven't went through it, if you didn't have that experience, how am I going to even connect with whatever you're saying? You read a bunch of books and you came up with your own truth. That sounds really like it sounds completely fine. I don't disagree with what she's saying. Don't get me wrong. I just don't understand how a person who didn't or couldn't help themselves is trying to help others professionally, by the way. It's not just like saying, I'm sitting, I'm chilling, this is my opinion. Never, not even once did she say, like, this is from what I think, what I understand from the world. This is like she's coming as a professional, talking about professional thing, but doesn't have a doctorate or a marriage or children. Like, why would you even listen to a person who doesn't have any type of experience, not even professional experience or personal experience?
But if you can't align with yourself, what makes you think you can align or even be at peace with somebody else? It doesn't work like that.
Can you begin to learn more about yourself, though, in the process of forming that relationship? You don't have to stay single to get that.
Listen, girl, you cooking, girl. I love this. Because I always say there's a lot that you can get from books, a lot you can get from principle, from tools, but there's a whole lot you got to just learn on the job. There's a lot of things that you just have to learn by experiencing it and being, this is why
I don't read help books. If I need help, I ask Google, I search really shortly to move on with my life. I don't read 600 pages of a book to come to the realization of something. I have no time for that. I'm action mode.
Wilderness is so important because the wilderness is giving you experience. You're learning on the job. Relationships, marriages also have a wilderness season. It's not kumbaya the entire relationship. So when you all are in the wilderness, that means you're learning yourself, you're learning the relationship, and you're learning how to love on each other. The Bible says love each other by knowledge. The knowledge piece is your recipe.
The Bible
it's not
comes
about
again.
giving them what you want them to have. It's let me give you what serves you.
And we cannot
I'll end on
question
this.
that because we're religious people and we believe in God's words and in the Bible, in the Quran or whatever. So we don't question that. So she really protects herself behind God's words. You know, this is one way that even the interviewer cannot even question her or have any type of follow-up questions, because then are you questioning God? So that's the easiest way you can do it when you want to say something, but you don't want to say it with your own words.
Which is a service position. Can you serve? Can you serve the person or not serve yourself? That's what it's about.
Yeah. I have to ask you this. I have a segment here called Motivation with Marissa, and I know you're a motivator for many people, and oftentimes when you have that role, that moniker, you're the strong friend.
Yeah.
So I got to check in on strong friends. I want to check in with you because you've gone viral recently. People questioning your credentials, whether you should even be giving advice that you're giving. How are you doing, particularly within the last few days?
Thank you for asking that. I love that. I'm actually doing really good. I don't know a person who has received this amount of free marketing. It couldn't have happened in a better time for my book that just, launched a couple days ago. And within 24 hours, we made the bestsellers list, not only for print, but for the ebook.
Yeah, like even with hate, it comes a great marketing in the business, in the entertainment business. That is completely true. Like, for example, if you take the Snow White movie, it wouldn't even get that many views. But because people hated on it so much, there are people who hate watched it. So it even got more views based on that. So it works. It always works. Any type of controversy attached to a book or attached to a movie or a person, a celebrity, it helps them out somehow. I hate to admit it, but it's true.
So that 24 hours, we made the bestsellers list, not only for print, but for the ebook. And so that's very exciting. Also, I know a couple of things. There's promises that God has for us. He says that all, not some, all things are working for your good. He also says that not to get weary in well-doing. And he says that I give you much territory, and your job is to possess it, and my job as God is to protect it. I protect what I give you. And so when territory is expanded, God says that the cross gets heavier. And if you cannot carry a heavy cross for the expansion of the territory I gave you, then guess what? Maybe you're not ready, because to whom much is given, much is required. And so it's important for people who are in service, in leadership positions, to not personalize, right? When you have folks who come in and attempt to crucify what you have going on, because your job is to not get weary in your service. And I'll land on this.
Literally no one is coming to her and telling her to stop doing what she's doing. They're only letting her know that she needs to admit that she's not a doctor, that she doesn't have any license or any doctorate credentials behind what she is saying, because she gave herself the title doctor. Remove that title, keep speaking, and we are completely fine with it. But you're not going to do that, because you know the title doctor is the thing that is selling those words that you are selling.
Job is to not get weary in your service. And I'll land on this. My obedience is to God, not to people. And so as long as I'm in his will and I'm serving and I'm doing his, his word, my sheep will know my voice. Even the sheep in wolf clothing. That is not my battle.
But
that's
with the
his.
questions that are out there, why not provide the proof of your degree? Why not?
Why
a couple
not?
Things, right? I have multiple degrees, and my thing is that my proof isn't something that I have to prove to individuals. My proof is already within my credentials, my degrees, and also more than just my titles. It's in how effective I've been.
How effective you have been. You just admitted that us making this controversy helps sell your book. It's not you being effective. You have lied. You are lying. I am sorry. Why? I would not support a liar. I'm not going to give you my money so you can continue lying and maybe harm someone's life along the way.
My sessions have been live for the most part. My titles, it's in how effective I've been. All of my sessions have been live for the most part. My sessions with Nick Cannon, Cam Newton, Shannon Sharp, B. Simone.
What does that matter?
They have all been for the world to see, right? So no one knew who Dr. Bryant was prior to seeing all of my sessions that were live. And they deemed it.
Just because you are very talented at speaking and you have the knowledge doesn't make you a doctor. It doesn't make you a doctor. Like, imagine a surgeon saying, I'm a doctor. I know, I read books. I know how to I know how to move my hands and like operate. I know, but I don't have a doctorate. I don't have a license, but I can do it. I believe I can do it. How are we not seeing this? Because she is treating mental, by the way, she's talking about psychology and mental health. And for years and years and years, we have been going through wars, trying to figure out how important and how, on what level does mental health and physical health align. And we came to the conclusion that both of them are equally important. And now you are trying to say that you're going to play a role in the mental health diversion, and now you came to say that you are going to play a role in the mental health section and just pretend because it's just mental, it's not physical. Like, if you're going to admit that you are a doctor in psychology or whatever, then why is it not all right to admit that you're a surgeon if you're not?
All of my sessions that were live, and they deemed it, as well as I did before they did it, they can't validate me, I validated myself, they deemed it as my work being effective. I am effective at what I do.
Then remove the doctor. You don't need the doctor.
I'm successful in my lane, and I'll land on this. I created my own lane. And so a lot of times, Marissa, when people see that you created something that maybe they couldn't, admiration turns into envy. And you got to be okay. And you got to be okay with that in that space.
So she is saying that we're just envious that we are not well-spoken like she is. We don't know how to sell lies the way she does. We are envious. That's why we are going after her and after her non-existent license.
Yeah. But I think, and I've got envy. And you got to be okay,
I
and
see
you got to
that
be okay
view
with
it,
that
yeah,
in that
as an
space.
attack,
Yeah.
but I think, and I've gotten this question from many viewers,
Yeah.
and I owe it to them
You
in
do.
service to
Absolutely.
them. Why not drop doctor from your name if you cannot bring forth that doctoral degree?
So
Exactly.
I've already covered this, right? And we're here obviously to talk about my new book. So I've earned the title. I have multiple degrees, and I'm not going to prove anything to anybody. And we're going to leave it just as that. Yeah.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
Baby, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
And that's where, and you're standing by that.
Standing by it. Yeah,
right.
because I earned it. Absolutely.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Oh my God, she did not just say that. Yes, baby. Because I earned it and I say so. All right, guys. From now on, you are going to call me Dr. Bunny. Because I earned it. I have been doing these YouTube videos for a while now. It's been a decade, all right? I earned this shit. Dr. Bunny. I know what I'm talking about. Holy. And I'm coming up with a book. It's going to become a bestseller because I'm going to call myself Dr. Bunny. I have the experience. I came from the hood too, right? 2 hoods, actually, 2 different hoods, one Balkan hood and one Middle Eastern hood. I know shit. Oh my God. I'm so triggered right now. I swear, I'm so triggered.
I know you're going to hang around and
I want to
to
thank you for asking the hard questions.
Well, I
appreciate
that.
that.
I'm a journalist with 2 degrees at the end of the
How
day,
many?
and so I had 2.
How many? Come on, girl.
Yes, Northwestern and Emory
Come on, girl.
University. So I
There
had to
you
make
go.
sure I display that as well as a journalist. So thank you for
appreciate it.
coming
Of
and for
course.
hanging around. We're going to have
Yeah.
some fun in just a little.
Are you a journalist with 2 degrees? Can you show your credentials, or do you just show up at a news place and you're like, I am a journalist, I can be an interviewer, I don't need the degrees, I believe in myself, I earned it. Because that's how you do it, guys. That's how you do it in real life. You just come up and when there is the CV, you don't have to show any papers, any credentials. You earned it. You earned the title. You got this. Go for it. I can't. This is so funny. And the funniest parts are actually the comments behind this video. I have been an architect for over 45 years. I don't need a license when I have been using Legos since birth. I am also a doctor because I have drank Dr. Pepper. She just said the dog ate my homework. I played Operation as a child, so technically that makes me a doctor. Exactly my point. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Should we actually have some type of lawsuit or some type of illegality behind calling yourself a doctor when you are not a doctor, selling your book based on a doctorate that doesn't even exist? I personally think there should be some legal consequences behind this. But that is it. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more, and see you next time. Bye!